All right, everybody, welcome. Got all the people. Facebook here in the middle, YouTube. You're not live, but you will be later. Well, sorry, Facebook, you're here. Instagram on the side. Twitter over yonder. There y'all are. Welcome back to Lunch and Live number 2. This one, not Lunch and Live. Live Lunch and Learn number 2. I can't think of which of myself to look at. This is ridiculous. This is like it's really cool for me because I get to see myself a bunch of times, but I have to think about the fact that my face turns this way with that guy. Anyway, I wanted to talk quickly about today about chatbots because there's some really cool things that we can do, and I think the interesting lesson that I wanted to go through today is that bots are not going to replace people, at least not anytime soon. And so the important thing to realize is that with a bot, what you're trying to do is emulate human behavior, but you're automating the emulation of human behavior, okay? So when you are creating your chatbot automation using ManyChat or any of the other many chatbots, you see what I did there? That was a pun. What you want to make sure that you do is that you don't treat it like you would your email automation system, because as much as people like me and other speakers and people in this space try and help people to understand that the more we try really hard to help people understand when you are writing emails, when you're having any type of communication with anybody, you want to make sure that you are communicating with them as though like the way that you would actually communicate with somebody, right? Well, we run into problems all the time. People don't really get that, and they don't really do it, right? So that's even more important with chatbots, because that type of one-on-one direct interaction, it takes a lot of trust for somebody to engage in that type of conversation, and so we have to reward that trust with as much, at least what seems to be actual human behavior as we can. Okay, so let me show you an example. Now this is something that I've done for a client, and I've actually done almost verbatim this for several clients. But this is after somebody takes some action, clicks a link, clicks on an ad or something, and we actually get started with a chatbot conversation. So I'm going to show this to you, and we're going to see if I can get it in a place where everybody can see it. Okay, I'll show it like this. So some of you, actually I think most of you, it's going to be backwards, so I'm just going to have to talk through this. Everyone watching from Facebook Live, you're actually going to be able to see this. But let me just show you I printed it out because I couldn't just show my screen for everybody, so I just wanted to do it this way. So we'll just go through it this way. So the first thing that happens is they opt in somehow, and you can see this part right here. I'll show it around to everybody. This is remember kindergarten when you'd show the pictures, read, and then you go, okay, everybody see the pictures? That's kind of what I'm doing right now. Anyway, so that you can see this part right here, it says typing 1 second. All right. So what happens is, as with any real conversation, I can't tell you how often the first message that shows up is 4 paragraphs long in Messenger. Have you ever written a message to somebody in Messenger? Ever? It doesn't actually happen that way. That's not the way that it works. You don't write these super long messages. You write a little bit and you hit enter, and you write a little bit and you hit enter, right? So this part right here is just that initial typing, okay? It's that first spot, and I apologize. I have this light over here that's making everything washed out, but that's the idea, right? First thing is typing. Then this response, because again, if someone were to message you direct, even at your business profile, the first thing you sent them wouldn't be a copy-paste, big old long thing that somebody has to read. It would be some sort of reaction. Hey, cool. I'm glad that you liked it. Glad that you saw it. Glad that you care, right? So the first thing you can see here is just rock on, and then that's something I would actually say. So you could say whatever would be natural. Then you can see down here typing for 3 seconds, because it takes time to type things. Let me just get in everybody's face here for a second. It takes time to type things, right? So you don't want these things to pop up a second later, because you want it to look like somebody's actually writing it. Because again, we're emulating human behavior. And the other thing too at this point that I think is important to point out is you're not actually trying to spoof real human behavior. Like when you go through and create these, I would actually type it out as though you're actually typing it to somebody, because that way it's genuine, because that's the way that you would actually write it, but it's also something you can automate, right? So the next thing, typing for 3 seconds, which is about how long it would take me to type this next section. Now this is very important. This part is actually kind of cool. When I typed this the first time, this is the way that I typed it. I want everyone just to look at that. Facebook, take a look. Okay. Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Does anybody notice what's wrong with this message? How about, oh, wrong hand. How about this word right here? How many of you misspelled that word before? Yourself? I misspelled that word all the time. And when I wrote this the first time, I actually misspelled it. And you know what I did immediately afterwards? Back, replace, right? So why not emulate that behavior, the behavior of misspelling something and then correcting it? Well, what I did in this case, which is another thing that I do very often, as you can see, typing, let's see if I can get this thing to show up on here. Typing for 2 seconds because I'm trying to correct it, and then you can see asterisk and yourself. I can't get this to, for next time, I'm not going to use this light the same way. This is ridiculous, right? In fact, you know what? Let's just turn this light off. I think it's helping in some instances, but not all. Bing. Okay. Hopefully nothing breaks. All right, here we are. Right? Oh, that's so much better. That's like night and day. Right? So here you can see yourself asterisk. That's exactly how I would do it. That is like literally, that's the exact process that I would go through. If I was typing and I made a mistake, I would go asterisk and then correct it, right? So that's what happens. And then typing 1 second, and then you can just type the answer. Now, the question was embedded up here, but what I've done is given them a call to action and then immediately reminded them that I'm a human. Well, this is human behavior, right? So that a human actually came up with this. It's not just, you know, some automated thing. And I think the key difference here is that, and this is, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, I just wanted to make this quick, but the key difference here is that it's not about actually giving somebody human behavior and real human interaction. It's about showing them and giving the consumer, the person that you're actually speaking with, the feeling as though they're communicating with a real person. That's the important thing. So if they feel like they're being communicated with a real person, that experience is going to go over just fine. And again, it's not like we're faking it. This is, I actually did write this. This is actually how it went down. And this is how I would send it if I actually sent it to somebody. All right. So very simple, straightforward. The cool thing about the chatbot software is you can build in that whole experience and make it look as the same way that it would when you actually are having a conversation with somebody. So I would recommend, I mean, ManyChat's got a free account where you can do all this stuff. And the paid account's like $10 a month. Like, who can't afford to, if you can afford $10 a month. I'm not even going to do the if you can't thing, because you can definitely $10 a month. So I would get in on that. There's a bunch of other systems, and they all have the quality. But I think those types of situations are allowed to really create that experience that people are interested in. So that's it for today. Join us again tomorrow. Tomorrow Lunch and Learn will be at a regular lunchtime around noon-ish Pacific time. I might actually start doing them earlier so that people on the East Coast don't feel like it's middle of the afternoon and Learn for them. But I'm in California, and let's be honest, we don't really care about anybody else. So hope you enjoyed that. Tune back in tomorrow. Peace. And now we do the awkward shutting off all the videos. So I gotta go.